Hello. So I got a new couch, guys, a new sofa, and it's a nice wood smell with every new furniture, and I really love it. It's awesome. Yeah, it's a good change. So today I'd just like to, address or talk about this phrase that I heard. Actually, for quite some time already, but I decided to research about it a little bit deeper last week, last Sunday, I think. And it's the phrase, I love your God, but I hate your people. And I just want to adapt that phrase into a religious, or rather into a Christian context, like an outsider talking to a Christian. You know, how he's telling, for example, someone telling me, I love your God, but I hate your people. And is he wrong to say so? Not exactly, because I know, Christians are also humans. There are people who are hypocrites in the church, there are people who are sinners in the church, there are people who are, misfits in the church. And sometimes they stumble people a lot, like me. I've had my fair share of encountering people like that. Or I myself may have stumbled people like that, because I'm also sinful, I also have my own flaws. And yeah, I may have hurt people before in the past, or maybe even now. And I think that's something that, if you say that statement to me, I love your God but I hate your people, I wouldn't really disagree with it. Because, I mean, yeah, it's true, like, people are messy, people are hurt, people are broken. But, right now I don't agree with the statement, because I don't believe that's what Christ will agree with the statement. Why do I say that? Because if you think about it, Christ, Jesus, came down to earth in the middle of our brokenness and decided to be a man, a mortal man. That's what Christians believe, right? A deity becoming a mortal guy. And if you think about it, a flawless being, a flawless God, will come down to become a flawed human. It's pretty wow, like why would he do such a thing, right? And the answer for that is in what he said, which was the two very distinct commandments he gave, which was the great commandments, the great love your Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, as well as love your neighbour as yourself, which is found in Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 to 40. Yeah. So this is his essence, this is his ethos, or his code of conduct, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, his ethics, where he wants to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, as well as love people as yourself. And I mean, the people at that time were also very confused. The Pharisees the religious leaders also very confused at what he said. Like, how can I love God as much as I love others? When other people are so broken, other people are so hypocritical, other people are so hurtful, people are just messy. And this is when he gave the analogy or the parable of the Good Samaritan, which is a pretty famous story. Luke chapter 10, verse 25 to 37, where he talks about how a Samaritan man was the biggest neighbour to this Jewish man who was hurt and injured and robbed. At that time, if you still don't know the cultural context, a Samaritan and a Jewish people were loggerheads culturally at that time, and it was the relationship was very bad, like between the Samaritans and the Jews. But the fact that a Samaritan man is willing to help this Jewish man speaks volumes about, this guy's character, where he sees life equally and everybody's the same. And I think that ties in very naturally to what Christ is trying to say, to the people around him, where, you can love your Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, but if you don't love other people as yourself, then that's not what I stood for. You can love me for my miracles and for what I did, but you can never love what I stand for, which is these two very important concepts. Pretty interesting. Yeah. So I believe that is the essence of Christianity. People talk about baptism, people talk about communion, people talk about salvation even, or all these kind of grace, all these kind of big names and terms. And I always felt that these big topics, yes, they are important, but they don't encompass what Christianity is all about, which is about loving others as yourself and loving your Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Because that's what really is, that's what the whole entire religion, I guess, based on Jesus is really built on. I mean, it can be miscued throughout history and throughout times for people's own benefit, or people have different viewpoints of people, that kind of thing. Yes, true. But then the core of what this religion is all about, which is what Christ said, is about loving others as yourself and loving your Lord your God for your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Yeah. So the x-axis of our lives, which is loving others, has to correlate with the y-axis of our lives, which is loving God. And I really like that image of the graph, because in physics, there must be a x force and a y force before there's a resultant force of a diagonal motion. And I think that's really simply how it is, because you would think that x-axis and the y-axis are independent of each other, but no, they are correlated to each other. So by loving God and loving other people, you get a spiritual growth that is amazing. Sorry if I was a little bit nerdy there, but it's true. We are always called to obey, In everything we are called to obey people, we are called to obey God, called to obey this and that. And even though it may seem like, yes, there's a lot of rules and regulations in this religion, but at the same time, if you realize that these rules and regulations were meant to help you or meant to bring you benefit, then you'll look at these rules a little bit differently. And you realize that whatever Christ wanted to do, he wanted to do for the good of humanity. He wanted to do the good for everybody. That's why he laid down those so-called commandments or those rules. And I think it's so interesting, to understand the fact that a God is willing to do that for us humans. Yeah. So the statement, I love your God but I hate your people, even though I somewhat agree with it, but at the same time I have to disagree with it, because Jesus would disagree with this statement, where he says, I will love the Lord my God with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength, and I will love the people with all my heart too. Because that's what he really embodies, and that's what it's all about. Christianity is never about a religion of law. Christianity is always a religion of love and grace. Yeah, which is something interesting that I learned. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon next time. Bye. See y'all.